Said I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know.
Hey everyone, welcome to the spot. It's Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And we're back with Ron Squared. And y'all don't fret. Tierra will be back. She's studying for an exam. She got her head in the books right now, but she will be back. So we're here to recap Reasonable Doubt season 3, and we're going to discuss both episode 1 and 2. Episode 1 is Feeling It, and episode 2 is 1,000,001 Questions. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So y'all, we see that it started off with a bang because Lewis collapsed, and we saw Jax, panicking, going off, and everything. So we don't know what happened to Lewis yet because it flipped right back to like 6 months earlier, and it gives us the whole backstory of what's going on with Jax and Lewis and this whole lawsuit with Tony and everything. And I'm going to go to you, Ron, because you said, we talked a little bit off camera, y'all, and Ron had some thoughts about Jax and how he handled
Tony.
Ben, the lawyer.
Yeah, the lawyer. Now, well, I first wanted to say, hell, I would collapse too if I had an illegit and married too. Yeah, that'd make me collapse. But hey, but I digress. Let me get into it.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I think I said this last season about Jax. Jax, she can be a hothead. She's quick to the gun, and sometimes that works for her. But a lot of times, you know, you gotta read the room. And I think that look, first of all, let me say I understand 100% why she's mad at Tony, because Tony did some jack stuff, and like for instance, I'm still trying to figure out why she's trying to blame them for the death of the child. Um, However, and then it gets to that point, and she's trying to railroad them money and everything else. Hey, I get it. That would send anybody, off to the top, off the top. But she fired her own lawyer on the spot because he wasn't as quick to the gun as she is. And I'm just saying, Jax, you got to settle down a little bit because, in theory, you're making this worse unless you're going to defend yourself. And you know what they say about a person who defends themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
all I know is I agree with you. I think, but I expected nothing less because I know how Jax is. She's a firecracker.
Yes, sir.
I do think that you are correct. She definitely should not have fired the attorney, and let the attorney do, because the point is it's a different voice, and it's a voice that there's no contentment with.
Correct.
Obviously, Tony does not like Jax.
Right.
And so that's not going to change.
Say what?
She wants her man. She wants her man. Of course, she doesn't like Jax.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, so anything Jax does, even when Jax is trying to control herself, it don't matter. Tony's not trying to hear nothing. You hear, but she ain't trying to deal with you at all. So, and what that does is Jax is it's like an olive branch. I'm making an effort here. I want to get this resolved. I'm trying to be as amicable as possible. And then, all you got to do is a little bit to light Jack's flame. And once she's gone, forget it. As we see now, there's no other attorney except her. So,
what you got to say, Ted? What you got to say?
I'm saying like Jax is used to being in control. She's this high powered attorney. So I understand where you're coming from. Like, I think I get what both of you are saying, but when you are in the same profession and you see and you're used to being in charge, like Jax is a partner. So I can see her looking at the case and saying, like, he's not representing this right. And it's going on for too long because she felt like Tony and them were spinning them. Like she kept changing the terms of the agreement. So she's just like, okay, attorney, when are you gonna cut this off? Like, I understand what you guys saying about Jax being hot-headed and stuff like that. Listen, understand. I understand. But I'm just saying, I just feel like at a certain point you do need someone to be able to just step in and cut it off and say like, hey, we've changed the terms, we discussed this, this, and this, and this. We were here. Like, at what point are we gonna, agree? We're gonna cut this off. Like, how long would they have gone on? Like, then you see what ended up happening. She was like, I dropped the lawsuit today if you just give me one night. So we could have done this a long time ago. And instead of if they kept Ben, they would have still been at the table negotiating, and she would have kept changing the terms.
But
go ahead, Ron.
now I was just gonna say, would they have? I mean, this wouldn't have happened. But what if Ben would have been negotiating terms and Jax just said, you know what? I can see that no matter what we talk about, no matter how this goes, my presence here is not helping. It's hurting. Maybe I'll just stay back and let Ben do his thing. You guys fill me in on what's happening. And if I don't like it, I'll say something, but I'll let you do what you got to do. Because I think me being here is inflating things. I think that's what it is. Tony don't care. And even if if you expected the lawyer to tell Tony, listen, what they're offering is reasonable. This makes sense. Tony don't care. You my lawyer. You're going to have to listen to what I got to say. So I want to do this. It don't matter. So I think it would have been nice if Jack stepped away. But
you're right.
Absolutely.
You're right about that.
And I think had she done that, it wouldn't have been as contentious in there because Tony, we know, loves Lewis. She loves some Lewis. And she would have been a lot more amenable to the terms if Jax wasn't in there. That was a show between Jax and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
We might as well put them in the ring at Showtime and call this the heavy, the welterweight fight of the season because that's all they do is spar at each other.
No, it's true. It's true. You're right about that. She probably should have sat that one out, and then Bill could have debriefed her after the meeting, and they could have discussed terms and stuff. Because she was getting more inflamed by Jack's presence, and plus she's still grieving. And so when you're grieving and everything too, you're already sensitive. Because we saw, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but when they finally did have the one night, that breakdown said it all. Like she went off, I lost my son, and she was like, and you want me to sign the papers, and you're gonna have everything because you're gonna have Jax, you have your family, you got a new job, and then I'm gonna have nothing. So I think that too, Jack's presence reminds her too of what he has, her loss, and what Lewis and Jax had.
Yeah, I don't want to go and put my teacher hat on, but y'all folk out there that think you can get in between a married couple, sometimes you got to understand that the consequences of that don't necessarily fall your way. And Tony, you should have never gotten up in there in the first place, but you were. But I was hoping that Corey would jump in and work with Jax because Corey has that smooth operator kind of situation, and he could have handled that a whole lot better than Jax.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In fact, if Corey was in there, he would have said, "Hey, Jax, chill," because he would have seen where this was going.
Right.
So anyway, but excellent show. I love it, and it gives us a lot to talk about. Almost every scene, you can bring something up, but between Jax, Lewis, Tony.
I'm happy to see that Jax and Lewis are in a good place though, because they were having some steamy love scenes, and I was like, this how you overcome, for them to have this major situation happen on both parts, infidelity and then outside baby and all that stuff, and for them to get back to a place that they're so loving and everything. And we see, the son Spencer is off school. Daughter Naima's home, but Naima got a smart mouth. Naima's is being fresh.
Real fresh.
Yeah, Naima's being fresh. I was like, okay. I sense that this is going to be an interesting season with Naima because she's different already.
Yeah, she's Jax's daughter.
Exactly. Yep.
But I want to talk about the fact you talked about offline, Bill. So Bill, played by Joseph Sikora, who we love, is Tommy Egan on Power. Um, he is an associate at the firm. He wants to move up and be partner. The partners talk to Jax first, and Jax mixes it, and she's telling them that she don't think he's ready, and this, that, and the other. And so he's on a mission to get this. He wants to fast track his promotion, and he even approaches the partners behind the scenes like, hey, what can I do? Like, because the partners were like, hey, you may not be ready and stuff. They're trying to toe the line with Jax.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they talk to him, they're like, maybe he said, well, what can I do to move this process up a little bit?
Well, remember, initially the partners were kind of on board moving him in because they said he brings
Yeah.
all this money, and Jackson was like, well, he's only been here 6 years. I was 8 before I got the chance, you know. And I get it, but I would have loved to have had them make some determination as to how much money Jax brings in, because Jax seems to hold up the firm in many instances. So
And she's a partner.
is he bringing in more money than Jax? And
I don't know.
I don't know. And I think that's where
They're in different departments. Like he was doing like civil, and she was doing, and well, her too.
But it's all about the green. And
yeah, it
and
is.
so
It is.
I because I wanted to be in favor of Jax with that whole thing, but I did see in one of the scenes, and we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, my boy Bill is on it 100%. And I'm not so sure if I can say he should wait 7 years, 8 years to be partner, because he did show something. And exactly twice he showed me something that I could say, well, I could see that because he's a smooth guy.
Oh, listen. Okay, so Jax, I'm looking at it both ways because I'm like, yeah, he does have something. But
Mhm.
I'm also looking at her as not only she's a partner, sharp woman, she's a sister, and he gonna get the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah.
He gonna get the benefit of the doubt because of certain privilege. So I was like, I don't know if Jax was trying to block what, but she brought that up to them. The first, the partners seemed like they were riding with her, but then when he approached them and said, "Hey, I've been in the Coast Guard," he put his he went ahead and shot a shot, and and so they were like, "Okay, well, let's tell you, let me talk to you and see what you're gonna do." So they basically told him that he needed to have lunch with, talk to Jax, and so Jax did go to lunch with him, and at first she was pretty much up front letting him know that this ain't going nowhere. You ain't ready. But he found another angle, like you said. He started, oh, you have kids? He started showing the pictures and stuff, and that that brought Jack's guard down a little bit and stuff. And so she was like, okay, maybe I'll bring you in to do some of these tasks.
Number one.
Yeah. Yeah. So she brought him in.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was cool.
It doesn't hurt that he did show the pictures of his black wife and his black kids.
Yes.
It don't hurt.
That's 1A.
That's strategic. That was real strategic. Real strategic. It's like, yeah, this is how these are the kids and stuff. It's like, oh, black, okay. So anyway, yeah, she brought him in on the case, and which was cool. And as you said, he seems to be pretty sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, it seems to be pretty sharp. I see that. Offline, I told you the part that rubbed me the wrong way was I felt like he backdoored Jax, and I guess I have to table that to discuss the Azie case, because the whole case that we have this season, because in the beginning, Jax was talking about how bored she was because she hadn't had a juicy case, not doing a civil case and all that stuff. But Azie is this actor, and Azie is
a child actor, grown up now, dating this,
a white woman who was his stylist,
10 years older.
10 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought her, the family did not like the fact that he's this successful actor, and he had this woman who's 10 years older on his arm and wanted her to sign an NDA. He said he didn't want her to sign an NDA. And at first they were hiring Jax to see about hiring the NDA, and he said he didn't want to do it. He was like, he loves her, that's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told his parents he was going to rock with Wendy. That's her name. And parents was like, okay, you want to rock with her? They weren't happy. They weren't happy, but they were like, well, here's some things you should know. We weren't privy to whatever parents told him, but they gave him some dirt. And the next thing you know, we see Azie confronting her, and it's a whole blown out fight that takes place in the street, and um and gets caught on a ring camera. And so the next thing you know, Wendy comes up missing, which
Yeah.
leads to them having to call Jax
Right.
and Corey back.
And so Jax meets with the family to discuss the case, and takes it on as their attorney. And what does Jax do? She
Go ahead,
we
you and
know
Ron H already said.
she's a hothead, and when it's not quite going her way, she blew up. Hey, I'm out. Don't worry about it. I'm firing myself. And she walks out, and she's with my boy Bill. And Bill comes out and says, hey, I think you kind of overstepped a little bit,
And you were impulsive. He
and
said, and you were reckless.
overstepping. And that's exactly what she does sometimes. A great lawyer, excellent lawyer, but she's got to bring the temperature down. I mean, cooking on medium. You ain't got to cook on high all the time. Come on, bring it down some. So that's what I get from her. And so, and it opened the
That's
door.
good.
But it opened the door for no, because we know Bill is slick. Bill has every look. If you give Bill a half inch, he'll bust that thing wide open. And
This is why, yeah.
but you and I have had these kind of conversations similar to this
Mm-hmm.
about um, savvy versus towing the line. And my thing is, if you got it, flaunt it. If you want something, take it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody giving it to you.
It's true. I mean, I will say though, I, even though this was typical Jax, this was
Mhm.
Jax in full motion. I wasn't as upset with her in this situation as I was with the Ben situation with Tony and all that. That was more of, I think that was more of Jax just being in her feelings. I don't like this person. Let's get this over with. This is a nightmare for our family. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as calculated.
Mhm.
This I felt was calculated because of her years and years of experience. She is a blunt person. She knows sometimes she comes off a little too brash, but she knew that no matter what, how brash I come off, if you don't like what I got to say, then I'm out, because she already knew. You're a black man. It's a white girl who's missing. They gonna come after you, and when they
And,
come after you, you're gonna be calling me. So she
and,
already knew.
and she said, when the tape comes out, you'll be calling me. And when she said that to Bill, I said, okay, I see her game. I see the game she's playing.
She said it to him.
Yeah,
She did tell him what was going to happen. He
right.
didn't want to listen. That's why she said, I'll quit.
No, no, no. I'm saying when she said to Bill what she thought would happen, that's why I'm like, okay, if and that's why I agree with you that he backdoored her, because she did say to Bill why I did what I did, and Bill could have kept his mouth shut because she's going to get the case anyways. But Bill knew that. Bill knew that because Bill knew
That's what I didn't like. Listen, I think Bill expressing himself to her and expressing his concerns, I was like, I felt it because a lawyer to lawyer, like, hey, I think you could have handled that differently. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
I respected it. I did respect that. I just didn't like the backdoor thing when he went, because I'm like, oh, okay, so it's supposed to be about the team. He out for self.
Mhm.
That's what that told me when he later on we saw that when they got fired, basically, because Azie pretty much said, like, well, it's gonna make me look guilty um hiring big shot lawyers like you, like what I
Mhm.
look like. And that's when Jackson's like, oh, okay, well look, I make it easy for you. I quit. And so, you know, when Bill saw the partners, he says, oh, you know, I know Jackson get a chance to tell you and things like that. We got fired. And then, the partners is going to eat that, and then he further said, he goes further and he's like, yeah, I think we could have handled this differently. Da, 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 and I think that we need to, and he said, my instinct is to do this. And I would
Well,
go, mm-hmm.
so let me ask you guys a quick question.
Mhm.
Quick question between like, do you think that Bill because I'm a little on the fence about that. Do you think Bill understood that this was going to come back to them and he was just looking for anything that he could say to the partners to, kind of undermine Jax a little bit and build himself up?
That's how
Or
I took it.
Yeah,
I think so. That was one scenario that could have been, but I think might have been the other scenario that it kind of goes to what Jax has been saying. He didn't know. He hasn't really done criminal cases and didn't really realize that this case is going to come back to them because Jax already sees how it's going to play out. I
but
think he might have been a little naive and thinking, oh, you can't go at it like this, and now we've lost this opportunity, and not understanding that she already knew it's gonna come back.
but
And I
that's
think
why.
it was also telling that when he went to tell the partners, the first partner was like, oh okay, yeah, let's see what
Yeah, they didn't
they
really
already
react.
knew it's gonna come back because they,
But I think, as I said earlier with Bill, he's very savvy, and I think when she told him that we'll get it back because of what's about to happen, because he knows Jackson's an excellent lawyer. So when
right.
when she said that, he could smell. He figured I better do something, and
Mhm.
and so I'm going to sabotage this in a manner that it doesn't come back to me smelling, like a dead animal. So he knew what he was doing.
Okay. So I see what you're saying. So it's the other thing is if we don't bring in this fish, it wasn't because of me.
Correct.
I got
Hmm.
you. I
And
Yeah,
got you.
yeah,
yeah.
and and he
He
knew that
clearly.
piece was coming back because she explained it. She said he'll be running back to us once that
Mhm.
video gets out. So she knew what she was doing, and that's what I like about Jax. Even though when she flies off the handle like that, a lot of times she does it strategically, and I think that's what she was doing.
Mhm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and he's smart enough to know that okay, if this is what she's doing, she's got something up her sleeve. So he then went back and to the lawyers and tried to sabotage this whole thing. And I don't know if he'll be successful at it, but it's sad that he's doing this because I think the two of them could work well
A
together.
good team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would be a good team.
Mhm.
But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, he's trying to get his. He wants his now, not later, as he said.
Right.
He
Right.
wants to expedite the process
Hmm.
and stuff. So I feel like he saw that opportunity to throw her under the bus, and he said it. And I'm glad, as you said, that the partners didn't, react right away and just been like, and immediately turn on Jackson. They took the tack that you said, Ron, and just pretty much was like, okay, well, we know where this is going. They're gonna come back.
Right.
It'll be all good. But it probably he did plant a seed. I do think he planted a seed. Um, the Ozzy situation. Uh, mm.
Well,
Yeah,
he's got scratches on his chest. They took pictures. Now, this boy, there's something wrong with him because he's in the mirror smacking himself and practicing how he's going to say whatever. And I'm like, okay, they may
that didn't. My spidey senses
I'm
started
like
tingling when I saw that.
he needs a little touch. But then I'm thinking too,
Little touch. That looks guilty. He
well,
was practice. He was
well,
practicing his.
wait a minute. As much as guilt, but the seriousness of it is, first of all, you signed something that
Okay, we didn't skip
gave you.
right to season two. I mean episode
Okay,
two.
okay,
With that.
yeah. This is why I hate doing two episodes. But
But
um,
But we can go there about Ozzy. You know, we can
Um,
go there about Ozzy. Let's talk about him.
well, I can stay with Ozzy to the extent that his mom and dad, they are real fishy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And moms, I'm not sure whether mom's more than dad or what, but they're real fishy. And mom doesn't like that white girl at all.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So he was
No, I agree with you. I think the
uh,
family.
Jack smelled something, but she didn't quite try to figure out what it was she was smelling. She, because she's more paying more attention to Ozzy. But she kind of knew when she first met the family, there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye. So it's going to be interesting in episode 3 what we find out about this family. And I'll leave it at that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We
Uh,
can just segue into.
I'm I would say that yeah, I think the parents are fishy. I definitely think it's more the mother than the father, especially
Mm-hmm.
when she dismissed. Was that episode 2? Or is that one still?
Well,
Listen, we can just segue into it.
Okay,
If
because
they intersect,
I'm
we can go
it's
ahead.
commingled together now. I'm a
Yeah,
little
it's
lost.
commingled together. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When the mother sent the father out the room to talk to Ozzy, you could kind of see who calls the shots.
Mhm.
And so I definitely agree that something definitely is very fishy there. I think you guys both talking about the fact that him, talking to himself and obviously figuring out what he's trying to say, what he needs to say in front of people. Maybe, Ozzy's child star, with child stars, we know that there's always a lot of traumatic
He's
stuff
an
whether,
actor.
they can't, they don't have childhoods. They go through living life as a lot older than they need to be. And because of that, it can affect them mentally and things happen. But I kind of feel like maybe his character actually has some other stuff that the parents shelter. You see the young actor, but they don't, you don't see who the person really is. And maybe there's some stuff there that's always been there. But now it's like there's pressure and stress and all of this other things are starting to come out. Kind of the same thing. This is similar, but separate. Same thing I kind of think about with Tony. I think Tony had some underlying emotional issues prior to losing the baby
Mm.
because the fact that she got so caught up and enraptured by being with Lewis, even knowing that he's married, kind of like you taking him away from me. No, I mean, that's his wife. Like, so I'm like,
Right.
when you look at people and how they think, you're like, oh, okay, maybe there's something else going on there.
But
Mm-hmm.
I think Tony knowing about Jax and her behavior and her ways, I think she probably thought that she could grab Lewis away from her.
Oh, and she had a shot.
She did. She had a shot. And it might have worked, if this
The only shot she had was the sex shot because Lewis's heart was with Jack.
Always, yeah.
well, yeah, but
Yeah, so she had a shot. Did you see? And Lewis must have put it down
No,
because
looks like Tony was
that
putting it down
lady,
too.
oh my
huh?
gracious. Yeah, Kimo Sabe, come
Yeah.
Yeah, she must have because when he went for the one night because that's at the end of episode 1 that was the decision. She said that if she had one night she would drop the lawsuit, and of course Jax was like, which I would have been like, what? Yeah, that would have been a problem. But as we saw at the beginning of episode 2, she did kind of come around and they negotiated terms. But and some of those terms included him not sleeping with her. So
Yeah,
he was
and
so
calling
he was
every hour.
call every hour,
Every
call
hour.
every hour and stuff. And so why he didn't do that because Tony was tripping about when he was trying to answer the call from Jax and stuff. So he was trying to stay in the moment.
Mhm.
But did y'all notice that Tony was fantasizing about him while he was there?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, she wanted a moment, and I was like, and thank goodness, Lewis held on. He held on. He held it down. He didn't succumb. He didn't succumb. But
Man.
yeah, so I'm looking. Go ahead and say. I'm see y'all shaking your
Oh
head.
no, for me, I'm not going over there. I'm telling you.
I'm not in the building, man.
Because I
Nah,
mean, Tony ain't bad looking at all.
I know,
And,
No,
and if
no, she's not.
yeah,
her
She's not.
flashbacks was enough for me to say no,
right.
no.
And if you got one of those flashbacks hitting you, it's gonna be a different story up in there. So for me, let's just go to court. Get this thing out.
Right.
It's a long process. I don't want to be here, but looks like we got to do it this way.
I'm sorry. I'm
Listen.
sorry. I can't do it.
Jax was a real one for even letting him go because I'd have been like, listen, I'm gonna have to hire Ben Crump, Johnny Cop, or somebody because we're gonna be in court because you're not spending the night.
I would
Good
have been
thing.
up at her house, and all you would have heard was zzz, zzz. I'd be putting up video cameras. Now that we're done, you can go over there for 12 hours.
It's a good thing that Jax can't bear witness to any of them flashbacks because
Yeah. That's why I know I wouldn't. He wouldn't have been able to go. We would have had to work it
And
out
then
in
you got to
court.
remember back in what was that season 2 or 1, but I think it was 2 when Lewis saw over a video she had
one,
Oh, that was season 1.
yeah,
Yeah.
one was the wild one.
and see
Yeah.
that right there could have sent Lewis over the top. I mean, like but then that's when I said, "Dang, they got a real strange."
Well, they weren't strange then. That's why you can
Strange,
tell.
I'm a stranger, not. I would have been over there.
No, I meant no. I said
Indian.
estranged. Like they were
Oh yeah, they weren't
basically
estranged.
separated. They were in the.
They
They were
were
in the same.
Yeah,
but it was still freaky deaky.
some freaky deaky, real strange stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
so I can understand why. I think Jax would have been more susceptible, if any, to the situation with Tony had a child not been involved.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
because that's what she was mostly upset about, but there's a child involved. And so we get now, and then Tony wants you to come over I mean, come on, bro. You gotta know why Tony wants you over there for 12 hours. I mean, look, I don't need to be the Wicked Witch of the West or have a crystal ball to try to figure out what Tony's up.
Yeah, she definitely wanted a moment, but she also was grieving. I will say that as a woman, I recognize that she was hurt. She really was hurt. I appreciated seeing the Jalen Hurts baby onesie. I'm fly Eagles fly. I'm an Eagles fan. Champion showing up everywhere, and I'm here for it. Right. But yeah, I did feel for her because of her loss. I did, and so from Jackson's standpoint, no, I wouldn't want him to spend the night or whatever. But if she had to go to therapy or support groups or whatever they needed to do, like I would support Lewis in that regard, as far as because it was not only a loss for Tony, but it was a loss for him because I felt bad when she had her breakdown, but I felt bad for Lewis when he was in the chair and he was crying over that onesie and stuff. And I was just like, wow, it's just really, really hitting him that this is his loss too.
Yeah, but somebody still has to explain to me why she faults Lewis for the death of the child. I'm still, I understand the grief, but you have to explain to me why this is. Now, maybe it's just.
I just think it's the grief because people, you're not, a lot of times you're not rational. You're not logical when you're.
A lawyer can't be too rational either because you got to understand when you have a case and when you don't. So I don't know how the lawyer would even take such a case, but I digress. So
the lawyer probably figured, like she probably said, dealing with the stress of, the situation with Lewis and his wife while I was pregnant, the stress caused this. So that's what I think.
You caused the stress dealing with a married man. That's number one.
Right. But I'm saying she's probably.
No, I can't buy that as a lawyer because you stepped in it by getting with a married man. And then you stepped with the other foot when you had a child with a married man. So if there's any stress coming from that stress is on you.
No, but he still was a father. There was still a lot of back and forth
I'm
between them, and
sorry, but I don't have
that
grounds for a
stress. When
lawsuit.
you're pregnant, you're not supposed to be stressed like that. And
Yes,
so
but
I think
but
you're
what I'm
asking
saying,
for the basis of the
but
lawsuit, and that's what I think.
that does not. If you can't go out in your car, hit somebody, and then blame the person you hit. You know, you the driver. You know, particularly if you're driving along and somebody just runs right out in front of you. What are you gonna do? Blame them? If you keep going, you're going to be arrested. So my whole point being is you can't step into a situation like that knowing that the man is married. You knew he was married, and then you not only screwed him, but you had a baby by him. And now you want to blame him for your stress? Your stress should have started day one when you started sleeping with the man.
Hmm. Yeah, she didn't think about all that, but I'm just
Of course
saying.
not.
But once the baby was involved and she was carrying, and then all the the strain between her, Lewis, Jax, all this other stuff, and then the baby doesn't make it. I mean, she's saying the stress of the situation caused the loss of her child. So
Yeah, but again,
she wanted probably a settlement. She probably thought, especially since
it doesn't make sense.
Jax is high profile. She's in the media and stuff too, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a good look for this to get out and be in the press and stuff. So I think too that she was leveraging that.
That's called blackmail, and
Yeah.
that's more blackmail than anything else. And that's what I got from it, because he's a high profile guy, has his own business.
Jax is high profile.
Yeah, well, not only Jax, I mean, but he has his own business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's not something that you want floating around your workplace, and so basically it's just a form of blackmail. Because like I said, that grief, whatever you want to call it, was born by you. Simple as that. You know, you didn't fall into a sex relationship. You knew what you were doing. So whatever.
It
But
takes two though. It takes two.
And
well,
you
yeah.
know,
But
hurt people.
yeah, and
That's true. I say that all the time.
and they both were kind of dinged up anyways, if you ask me. So in some instances, I think he's better off with Tony. But
Oh, you tripping.
I don't know. I'm saying,
Tripping. No, like I'm with Ron Square here. I think that Tony had some issues even before the baby and the grief and all that stuff. And I think it would have been issues with her too. I think Lewis, she found Lewis at a vulnerable time when Jax was cutting up, when
mhm,
she was out here messing with Damien or
mhm,
Damon or
mhm.
whatever and stuff. And she caught Lewis at a vulnerable time.
I think she wanted Lewis from day one.
Of course she did.
I mean,
She
she
was
did,
talking
yeah.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
did.
So that. She was messed up over that whole situation from day one. So
And the reason why Jackson's so mad is because remember at some of the events, like they were kind of cool.
mhm,
They weren't like friends, but like their kids and
mhm.
stuff. Like they would, when they had school events and stuff, they were kind of key a little bit and stuff. So to learn that not only did he step out, he step out with someone I know and
Yeah.
things like that. Like you hear me tell all the time, like there's a code. There's supposed to be a code, and you supposed to be, and you so for her, I thought she had a lot of audacity to even be mad at Jax when she was the one that betrayed Jax.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I
That
mean,
again, that's just another.
and I was gonna say, I'm sorry, even if they're not even like good friends,
Mhm.
it's different. Like if you in a situation like that when I guess parties are not together and they step out and do their thing, and but legally you're still married, and whoever the other parties are, like I'm not with my wife or not with my husband, but we're still together, or still married.
Mhm.
It's one thing is that, right, and it's another thing when you actually know what that person looks like or
Right.
been around that person. That's different.
Mm-hmm. She can't never say she didn't know
Right.
because she was around them.
Mhm.
It's a different connection. It's like it's more snaky.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that was something between them.
But
Azie. Hmm.
well, I think a lot's going to be told about Ozzy and Friends, because that family is a little jacked up. But the second thing that Shakur did, I think that was real uh, on point with me is when he saw the district attorney and how he orchestrated how Ozzy would be arrested. Initially, the district attorney wasn't having it, but then he went over, saw some pictures, did his thing, and was able
Hmm.
to, to get what he wanted done with the district attorney. That's why I say, yeah, I can see him, making him a partner because he is smooth with what he does. And there's nothing wrong with, a little hot and cold, you know,
No,
nothing wrong with that because they can play, good cop, bad cop.
that
Sometimes you
I
need,
was gonna say that.
yeah, sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and they're gonna need the help because things really went viral because Wendy's sister
Hmm.
and her assistant um basically said they had a press conference. It went viral on social media and everything. So he had to call Jacksonville back and Corey and
Hmm.
all of them. Corey said he couldn't stay though. His heart and work was in Chicago and
Well,
everything. So I'm like,
well, yeah.
hopefully we'll see him again. I think we'll see him again.
I was
Um
a little worried for Lewis when Corey was in the hallway and Jackson
yeah.
that call she was expecting, and she sat beside him and put her head on his shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, I think they kind of had feelings for each other because Corey,
Yeah,
even when he was ready to go,
yeah.
he was like, my heart and everything. I'm getting ready to get a house with
Hmm.
Brandy and all that stuff. So that's good. And so he was asking like, what's happening with the baby and this and the other. And I'm like, I was like, there's an undercurrent there. It's an undercurrent of something there, and we'll see. He's probably going and trying to keep some distance between them because there is undercurrent. Even Lewis was like, he was about to go off when he found out that Corey spent the night in the house.
Yeah.
Because he came back the next day,
Hmm.
because he didn't, like you said, did not return the call
Hmm.
because Tony was just like, if you're going to answer the calls, you might as well go right now. And so he was trying to keep the peace and get her to sign the paperwork, which she did. Thank goodness she did sign the paperwork. Um,
Y'all,
one of the things I wanted to say, like, did y'all recognize some of these new faces? Like one of the family members for Ozzy
mhm.
was Mercedes on P Valley. I mean, Brandy Evans.
Mm.
I saw because
Oh
I was
yeah,
looking. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
so
Yeah, I
so
didn't.
it was her,
Mhm.
and also Cash Doll is playing
Oh
the
yeah. I didn't know
assistant.
she's the friend of Wendy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the friend of Wendy, the assistant and stuff. So I was like, so there was some notable folks in this
And
episode.
shout out to Wendy, by the way, Ruma Willis, which is Bruce and Demi's
Bruce
child.
and
Yeah.
Demi Moore's daughter. Yeah, yeah. So shout out to her too. So and before I end this, I just go ahead, Ron. I see you
And
want to say something.
I just want to say I'm a chocolate chip fiend, and if you see me with a whole bunch of chocolate chips, take them. And Tony is a chocolate chip. So if if protect me,
Lord.
take me away from.
Just saying, really, if you couldn't tell me that the Lewis that I met in season 1 and some of season 2 wouldn't have been more suited to be with Tony than with Jax at this point. But I guess they've
They've
had a
been
lot
to
of growth.
they've been to
So
therapy. You heard them talk about the therapy. Look how they're like um they're like rabbits now because you saw they were all over the place in
My
the
man,
shower and stuff.
yeah,
And he was like, "Am I gonna get some?" Yeah, so they've been getting it in. They've been getting it in. I'm not mad
they
at
know
them.
how to keep it fresh. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's
that
well.
they
I
do.
think the therapy have helped them, and plus, they got to a place that they forgave one another and
Mhm.
stuff because it's hard to get back to that place once you step out. But they're doing that, and this Tony thing could have been a wrinkle. you know, you already mentioned how Bill negotiated the arrest. You know, LAPD, Jax told Ozzy that he was gonna be arrested at her house.
Mhm.
Cops came, got him. And the point that you alluded to earlier, when he asked to go to the restroom, he called somebody, Alex, and Alex said, they found Wendy's body. So then I'm like, this sounds, he sound guilty. Why are you calling somebody saying that? Then he proceeds to go in front of the mirror and he's practicing his delivery. I'm like,
Now, did he call, was Alex his sister?
I don't quite
I
know
don't
who
know.
Alex is.
I don't know. But he called Alex and was like, Alex, they found Wendy's body. So I'm like, oh,
Well, if
so
y'all,
that
anybody
makes
out
me
there
feel.
know, if anyone out there knows, just let me know because I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm side eyeing Ozzy. And then when Ozzy got to the station, it
Mhm.
would look the cop was being a fan and everything too. So I was just like, this is like real life with celebs and stuff. Like there's a certain privilege that comes with it. They start giving them you know, special treatment. And I was like, yeah, because he put on his smile and everything and signed it and everything. It didn't even matter that he was in the band.
And I'm thinking that he said, "Let me have your autograph," but what he was signing was a confession, and we're gonna figure that out in the next.
You think it was a confession?
Yeah, because my boy was real slick with what he did. With what he did, if that paper wasn't white, it was yellowish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that smirk he had on his face with that under that smile. And I'm like, no, this is.
I don't think he signed no confession
I'm
because
trying to say, look, anybody put something in your face, you read it first. You make good and sure that it is what it is, because what it was
he has
connected.
legal counsel. I don't think he would sign a confession with legal, you know.
But he didn't. I don't. At that point, I'm not sure if his legal counsel was there. But even if his legal counsel was there, he should have looked at whatever it was he was giving him first. You don't sign anything in a police station unless you know exactly what you're
He
signing.
was getting booked. I think it was just
Ain't no
the
booking. You get booked with a fingerprint. You don't have to sign.
listen.
Now unless
I
he
don't
was
think,
signing
or
under.
I thought he was either being bailed out or something because when he signed it and everything, I was like, maybe is he making bail? But when he signed it and he smiled, I was like,
I.
that
It's the cop though. His
the
smile.
cop was acting like a fan.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Man ain't no fan, old self.
Yeah, he was giving him special treatment. He was a fan,
Yeah,
and so
we gonna see what we gonna
yeah,
see.
yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see because now I'm side eyeing Ozzy. And so the episode ends, like, you know, finally Lewis comes home the next day and he and Jax recap everything.
Mhm.
And, you know, once they recap everything on both sides, um, somebody at the door and it's her dad. And I was just like, okay, we can get a serious backstory with dad because the way Lewis opened the door, what are you doing here? I said,
Yeah,
oh, I was like, who is this?
I can't
You
wait.
know, for a minute there, I was like, is that Corey? Like, who is that? And then when she said daddy, I was like, okay, what did daddy do?
Mhm.
What did daddy do that we got this animosity going on?
I
So
mean,
Well,
that's
I
cool.
mean, you know,
he
since
was a
season
druggie.
one, there's
Season
always
one,
been something building about her
there's been some
father.
daddy
Well, he
issues.
was a
Yep.
druggie. He was a druggie for one thing. So I don't know if there's something else beyond that caused this animosity, but we definitely going to see. And I believe we'll see it very quickly in the next episode. Because,
Hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they were
Mm-hmm.
both, you know, they didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, since we got to close out, um, you know, we got to do who gets the hands
Mhm.
and who gets the game ball.
Hmm.
So for y'all, who gets the hands?
Well, I guess I got to give Bill the hands for backdooring Jax. So I'm gonna give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he gets the hands. Anybody else?
I'm gonna say, yeah, I would give Bill the hands too. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I could also say Tony gets the hands.
Ah,
Tony gets the hands because nothing she's doing right now makes any sense. Even the lawsuit don't make no sense. It's just she's trying to hurt people. She's trying to hurt them, but it's never going to hurt them on the same magnitude of you losing a child.
Exactly.
And you also, you get the hands for coming up with this cockamamie scheme. I need to spend 12 hours with you. You know, yeah, no,
yeah,
it's the bad idea.
She thought he was gonna succumb. That's what she said. All I need
Did you
is
say
a little time to work my magic.
Did you say Did you say succumb?
I said, oh, I said succumb.
Oh, okay. You said succumb.
But
yeah, I you know that's a well, okay. I'm leaving it alone.
Ron is anyway, I think I'm giving Azie the hands because, like I said, I'm side eyeing him now ever since the phone call. Because when he said he gave a little side story about how when the fan said he did it, da 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 da, and he gave a backstory about his grandmother had died that day and the fan and stuff, and then he looked like he appeared to be innocent. And Jack said, "I believe you." And then he gets the call in the bathroom, and then he's acting out in the mirror. I'm like, now I'm side eyeing you. So I'm giving him the hands right now. So he better end up being innocent. If he's innocent after all, I'll take him off the hands list. But right now, he on the hands list. So who should get the game ball?
I think Bill gets the game ball. Because you could say, well, he was only instructed to do what someone of his capability could do, but it wasn't going to happen. That attorney was not going to even book or arrest Azie the way they wanted it to happen until he used his little finesse.
That's true.
So I got to give him a game ball for finessing the attorney with the that's something that Jax wouldn't have done. She might have been able to do it in a different way, but she couldn't have done it the way Bill did it.
I agree.
Unless he had that, that Coast Guard background and stuff, so he was able to. And then he talked about, him. He knew that the guy had hopes of running to be a DA and stuff. So he did work that. He did finesse that, and the fact that he finessed it so that he could come and be arrested from Jax's house, and he did it without the paparazzi finding out, like in the quiet of the night and stuff. So he did his big one on that. So you're right.
When he saw that picture of the district attorney in his Marine Corps uniform, and he said, simplify.
Yep.
Simplify. He knew what that meant. And that's when he went into his Coast Guard stuff. And, Marines, man, they use that term it's a term that they hold very dearly to their chest. And it's not something that they use sparingly. So he knew that. And so I agree with you in terms of giving him the game ball, because he knew exactly what he was
doing. Yeah. So I see. I agree with y'all on that point. Okay, guys. I think we've discussed episode 1 and 2. We want you to drop down in our comments and let us know what you think. Whether you agree, you don't agree, who's on your hands list, who's this game ball, let us know. Please like and subscribe to this video and push us out far and wide. Click the notification bell so you know whenever we drop a new video. Check out our playlist. In season 1, Reasonable Doubt, we did interview Tim Joe, who plays Daniel. So we do have an interview, a roundtable with him too. And thank you, Ron H, for stepping in as always and just holding us down.
Appreciate you guys for always having me. Thank you. Free Azie. Yeah. I don't think he did it. I'm just saying that.
He may not, because it's too soon in the story.
It's very soon.
It's too soon. So it looks obvious by him doing that. But I am side-eyeing him because I'm like, why are you rehearsing in the mirror? Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week for episode 3.
You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already know. Pull up in a Billy coat, then a cockatoo.
Girl, don't call my phone. I know where you been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more. Girl, don't call my phone up, I know where you been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more.